I'm not certain, but just the appearance that I'm seeing here looks like some scleronephiids that we've collected down off of New Caledonia. Yes, Chris, it is in the family Nephthyidae.
Great, thank you. I'll correct the entry in the event log. So could we look at this white spiral coral? I think this could be the real black coral finally.
I agree with you, Chris. It's got that tight coil, doesn't it?
Yeah, and those elacellids sure make it pretty confusing with both of these things growing together in the same place.
Yeah, really not very cooperative at all.
Okay, come on in.
Partial.
So Scott, you were saying earlier that you think that towards the base the polyps are retracted, and what's the reason for that?
Pushing in.
Well, Deb, I was suggesting that, and hang on, I'm seeing now we're zoomed in, and so once again, this is not a black coral. This is another octocoral, so I guess we were fooled again. So we're suggesting this is in the family Elacellidae. There's a couple of different genera that it could be. And I see that this has got the same appearance as that last one, so you're right. I think there's actually no polyps down there. And I'm guessing that's because that the currents are slower down near the base, and so it's more productive and useful for the polyps to be towards the tip where the currents are higher and there's more food flowing by.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Guess, anyway.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah, when you're happy, Roland.
Video's clear.
Beautiful work on the focus there video. That's really nice.
Thank you, science.
Is Roland smiling over there? Oh, good. Roland appreciates the compliment. Actually, you know, now is probably a good time to talk about the fact that there are so many teams of people that make these dives happen. You know, it's not just the ROV team that's piloting, and it's not just our video engineers that are taking great video. It's also the entire ship crew for making this run smoothly, being able to move the ship, being able to help deploy and recover the ROV. It's really a great team that makes this exploration happen.
Yeah, we can probably put it in a ship move.
Works for me.
I'm looking at 240. Does that jive with you guys?
What was the last one?
250.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Bridge RV nav. We're ready for another ship move. 30 meters, bearing 240, at a speed of 0.2 knots. Good copy.
Let's do a partial under the rock. I don't see anything.
no fish hiding out.
Thank you, Bridge.
Well, shucks.
Alright, coming out.
Thank you, pilots.
That's a great hidey hole. What's wrong with it? Any fish would be happy to have a hole like that. Oh, there's a fish coming down slope. Two of them in the water column.
Squirrel.
Just making his way home.
Go after the other one.
Yeah, coming out.
Just so folks at home are aware, you know, when we're zooming that far away, it's kind of hard to see all of the details of the fish. So they're doing the best they can, but we're not very close to those two types of fish right now.
I don't see him.
He's top of the screen now.
And those fish were not being cooperative and hanging out near the seafloor, so we could go grab them.
Way out there. Right. Yeah, come on out.
We got them anyway. They're yellowtail collies. They couldn't escape us.
Good job, Chris. Quick IDs. Good job, pilots. Good zooming.
Thank you.
Oh, here it comes again.
Come on in.
Oh, the fish is coming back. And quickly.
This is different.
Yeah, it's a different guy.
You get the feeling that fish does not want to be photographed.
Full wide.
CTDs are reading 19.5 Celsius.
Is that
Fish
something
left.
octopus or fish? I think we may have our first octopus.
I just had a conversation with myself. So we're at 19.5 degrees C right now in terms of temperature.
Nope, fish.
And we're at a depth of 266 meters.
I think he's trying to hide from you.
It's funny, we saw one of those earlier today, and that's exactly the
We're just below the thermocline.
Yep. So what kind of fish is this? We saw one of these already, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm waiting for one of the other guys to punch in his name again. I remember what it is. It's a big eye or gigantic, but can't remember what they said it was.
So is it actively hiding right now, or is this like a comfortable resting place for it? Because it certainly seems a little bit small.
I think we're clear with this.
It's a bit scared right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would be too if a giant thing the size of a car with tons of lights was bearing down on me.
Full wide.
Bigger than a car.
Brian, you want to point my utility camera up and forward best you can? You gotta hit 1 and then enter.
I was moving mine. Sorry about that.
Just like point it forward and see if we can look out ahead.
Look at the white corals.
See what's under here. Anything coming partial?
All right.
Okay, come on out.
So I've yet to find.
If you go into the menu, in the top far left button, you don't get anything. Should say display. using the arrows on the right, go down the services, and then click that, and then cycle till you get the side tone. And then click that, and then it says level, click that, and what number does it say? Yeah, so you can go down to like -8 or -10. That's usually just enough to know that you're talking. The single ear headsets, the side tone seems to be louder for some reason also. But it goes all the way down to like level 16, I think. Negative 16 dB.
Do you feel like the current's reduced at all? Looks like either you've gotten calibrated to it, or it looks like you're having an easier time flying.
I was just actually thinking to myself that it got worse, but...
Oh, okay. Well, then you've obviously got
really
well calibrated to it.
I can't really tell. It might be shifting directions, too. I usually run it at -8 or -10. 6 is on the higher side, but not 0.
This is quite a promising boulder we're approaching.
Come in partial.
Oh. Nope, that's algae. Forget it.
Come on in.
Yeah. Oh, another... Okay, so this one is... another type of Prostomoides, perhaps? Chris?
I think this could be that golden grouper. I don't know this fish, so I'm waiting for Brian or Dave to weigh in on this. This is specific to this area. It certainly is not in Hawaii. Yeah, they said it's the same thing, the golden grouper in the chat room. That's Brian who weighed in on it.
Thanks, Brian. Sorry for
I'm at the
mis-IDing
end of
it.
my tether. That's why I'm not closer.
I take it you guys are ready? Keep moving.
We are, thank you.
Alright, come on.
Bridge ROV nav. Another ship move, 30 meters, bearing 245 degrees, 0.2 knots. Good copy. Thank you, Bridge.
I think it's a exposed rock, but go ahead, snap in. It's exposed rock.
I'll change it.
And pirouettes are not easy.
No, not when you've got the full length of your tether fighting you.
Full length of my tether and coming broadside to the current.
Yep.
It's coming partial rolling. Look at that hiding spot. Surprised there's not more in there.
The ship store is out for the next 10 minutes. In addition, if you are able, please come in to start settling up your dues. Again, please come in to start settling your dues. The ship store is now open for the next 10 minutes.
Blue fish top.
Alright, you're getting a little bit
Can we
far
get a
out to
close-up of that thing
the left.
colony when it's appropriate?
What,
Pilot, did you register that?
what colony?
I think it's the one your lasers were just on.
Yeah,
The
go ahead.
stalked one,
What was
please.
that, Brian?
Oh,
Just remember my heading's 10 degrees off of the direction of move, so you're getting a little high and left.
Come on in.
There's also a fish up in the background.
so Chris Kelly is saying he thinks it's a primnoid, Caligorgia maybe, and it's got a
Excellent.
commensal ophiuroid living on it.
Hey, where's this
He'd even
fish?
go so far as to say Caligorgia gilberti. Thank you, pilots.
I do no longer see him in the image.
And there are loads of stylasteroids around it, some plexaurids. And everything tends to be quite small here, you know, not much bigger than 10, 20 centimeters.
Yellow fish down below.
Oh, whoa, loads of fish.
Partial.
So this one's Prismamoides zonatus, I think, which is another one of the... We saw one before, so I think this is the second individual of this commercial bottom fish species we've been interested in
Lasers
seeing.
are clear. Can we turn off lasers?
Pilot, you okay with that?
It's going
So
away
in
from that.
Hawaii, these fish are called gindai. And again, they're very, very tasty. They don't occur in abundance in Hawaii. As again, they're more solitary. They're not a big schooling fish, so you don't really see them in the markets very often. But I think the fishermen, if they catch these, they'll hang on to them, and they'll probably take them home and eat them themselves.
Give you more zoom if you want it. Or the science seems happy with it.
Let's let him go. Let's come on out. I gotta keep pushing. There's another one out there.
I see him in the distance.
Go for it. Is that that grouper we saw? Come on in. Is
No,
there any more?
that's that yellow tail thing we were seeing earlier. You're
Alright,
almost
come
off
on
my
out.
screen.
Come on out.
Did my audio improve for you?
Yes.
Is that an enemy on top of that rock? Just a, or is it a coral? It's white.
Let's get this fish.
Oh, this is a new one. Oh, two fish. Okay, there's one up at the top of the screen and one at the bottom of the screen.
Three fish right here.
Blue Spanish redfish.
Let's see, this guy's hiding. He's coming on this guy.
So that's a type of butterfly
That
fish.
is a butterfly fish.
And the other one, I didn't get to get a good look at. So the butterfly fish is.
Come on out.
It's an urchin down in that hole.
Thank you, Bridge.
So the butterfly fish is the Hawaiian
Fish
gold
was
barred.
Possibly Roa excelsa. Not positive. That's just what it looks like. And that's
Come on in.
what we have in
Oh,
Hawaii.
at the
The
top.
Come on in.
other one,
Hold that.
I'm not sure about. Maybe somebody got denied on those.
And the other fish look a little bit like Grammatognothus. Grammatognothus. Licenus. Though I could be wrong.
So these purple and yellow ones, Brian Green has ID'd these as Odontantheus katayamai. And I would agree it's a ornamental grouper, Anthea grouper. And I'm almost certain, he knows it already, Odontantheus looks just like
yeah.
the Odontantheus in Hawaii, except it's a different species. There's the Roa, the butterfly fish.
You guys look like you're ready for another move. Okay.
So at least in Hawaii, this particular species is the deepest butterfly fish
Bridge, RV now.
in the Hawaiian archipelago.
Ready for another ship
And
move.
there is no
30
deeper one, so the
meters,
butterfly
bearing
fishes
240
actually
degrees,
taper out
0
around
decimal
300
2
meters, and the family is completely gone and not represented in deeper water.
Good copy.
Maximum. I think I'd like to see this up close if we got the time to push.
Come on now.
I don't know if science wants it. I'm not sure if we imaged it well yet today.
Science, is this coral of interest to you?
I mean, we could do a snap zoom really quickly, but I think it's dead.
Come on in.
What about the fish in the center?
Yeah, we've seen that already. It's
Okay.
a butterfly fish.
Okay.
I mean, this is definitely the dead skeleton of a coral.
Thank you, Bridge.
It's covered in hydroids, I think. Yeah. Dead. Thank you, pilot.
Right, come on out.
In that hole to the left, where you see the sand next to the big rock, was an urchin. On the left edge of the screen. To the right of the big rock.
Come on in.
I think it was upper.
So some more Celasterids here, some more
There it is.
Plexaurids.
Left edge of the screen.
There's crinoid.
You've got time, but
Oh, a sea urchin down in the, just to the right of this rock face, yep.
Max in. I don't think we can do any better, so at least they know it's there.
Come on up.
So this,
That yellowish fan called Glaricinian colony.
Silverfish left edge went off the screen. I disregard coral.
Yeah, this is not getting any lighter. The current.
You're making it look easy.
It's taking it. I think my hand's going to be sore after this.
Pilot, this is Watch Lead.
Go ahead.
Are you guys doing okay?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Just working out my fingers.
Yeah, Jeff mentioned carpal tunnel.
We're still moving 240 right now.
Yep, 240.
Feel like I'm slowly getting pulled off the wall, so we might want to bring it a little more.
230.
Yeah,
Okay.
230, 235 for the next one.
Okay.
It's very slight, but ever since we took over,
there's another fish in front of that boulder.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause we can always
on the bottom.
saddle
Straight ahead.
a little deeper.
Yeah, I think
Upper
it's fine.
left.
It's not. I just don't want to keep getting further off.
There's also
Oh,
a
there's
yellow one.
2, 3, 4 fish in this area.
There's one bottom right. There's a big guy. Come in. Lasers, please.
So another couple of those Odontanthius Katayamai, as well as this Prismamoides. Oh no, is this? Yeah, Prismamoides zonatus. As well as there was another one. I don't think I got to see what it was.
Well, just a little bit.
Partial.
Thank you, Bridge.
Hey, Watch Leads Copilot, if you look up above the Stereo screen in the tether cams, there's actually, it looks like a fairly good-sized aggregation of fish hiding behind us. You're kind of going to see them
I do
clearly.
not see that.
Yeah.
I don't see it either.
As soon as I said it, they dispersed. But there was
Sure,
a good, like,
sure,
10
sure,
fish
Brian.
hanging out right behind us.
But that's actually a good point. So for those of you who are following along at home or for the shore-based scientists, if you every so often switch your feed over to feed 2, you can see the Sirius camera. And what we were just hearing was that there was actually an aggregation of fish behind Sirius just a few minutes ago. So I'd recommend kind of flipping between them every so often to see what you can see. Not sure it's going to help with the contextual geology today, though.
I don't know if we've come back to the same place, but it's very curious that we see a coral fan on the left. I think I'm behind, so you've now moved it. It's off screen to the left. But it was the same one we saw before that we suggested it might be Calcigorgia-like, and it also has a stalked crino branches. So that's the second one I've seen, and today is the first time I've ever seen a stalked crinoid on a octocoral sea pen.
I don't think it's the same place because it looks like we've been moving steadily away from, along our track. But certainly ask the pilots.
Come on now.
What were those kind of fish?
I agree with you, Deb. I thought we'd been moving quite far
Yeah.
time we thought.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the high pack bathymetry, I don't think we've been circling back at all.
No.
Oh, and I got an affirmation from the ROV pilots.
Yeah, this is new territory.
Yep.
You want
So-
to look at the stalked crinoid?
Yeah,
Come on in.
I believe so, yes. What were those kind of fish, though? Oh.
Beautiful, thank you, pilot. I love that the pinnules on the arms are different colors. The pinnules on the arms are different colors. So the arms are this beautiful purple, and then the pinnules are yellow, as well as the stem and the cirri, the stalk and the cirri. So Chris is
That's
saying
true,
this is from the genus Isocrinina.
This is a particularly beautiful one. The coloration is very different than some of the other ones that on this dive, and even on that previous dive where we saw so many of them.
And Chris, with this close-up, I'm beginning to wonder if your suggestion before that this was a primnoid is correct. So it certainly could be.
Yeah, Sacco thought this could be Finelia too. I've actually collected a Finelia many years ago, and it just has it has a very distinctive branching pattern, and we could tell almost immediately if we could see the polyps, of course, because they look like Caligorgia polyps. They curl right up.
That's maximum.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Finelia from up off the Aleutian Islands, and they have a depth distribution that certainly spans this one, and I agree that could definitely be it. It's got the right coloration.
Yeah, on that crinoid, you can see it's clearly different because it was holding on to the coral in a very, very different manner. It didn't have that really long stalk kind of laying on the side like the other ones did.
Is it possible? Well, you're right. So the coloration is also different, but I just wonder about the size and where it happens to grip.
I take that back. The stalk could be going off behind us, actually. It could be lying flat behind us, and we just don't see it.
All right, are we...
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, pilot.
You want to look at that anemone?
Any interest in the anemone signs?
Yep, I mean, go for it. So I think we saw one of these earlier in the dive.
We did, although I think it was at the top of one of the rocks being blown over.
Maybe. Okay, that's great. Thank you, pilot.
So what kind of an anemone was that?
All right, when you're happy, Leo.
Isoacternus? Does that sound right?
I
Actinurnus.
think I spelled it right. I think it's Isocrinina, but I'll look it up now and correct my spelling if I spelled it wrong.
Isocrinus. There you go. We're learning new words.
The red fish inside the hole on the top. Second hole down.
I have to say, it's not easy being a geologist on a biology dive. I'd love to be able to pronounce these words, but I have no idea how to most of the time.
I'm looking down 70 at you.
Which is why I spend most of my time pointing and going, what's that?
Think we're good with this?
I think
one.
we would have to say right now that both Deb and I are pretty uncomfortable working at these depths. We're accustomed to working much, much deeper in the ocean where most animals don't really have very much
Sand
color.
dollar at the bottom.
Absolutely.
Whereas here, these are almost like reef fish, you know?
Yeah.
Brilliant, almost fluorescent colors.
And they are
which
beautiful.
they are beautiful, which we're just not used to seeing.
Absolutely.
And also these corals, for instance. I thought I'd been getting a handle on the corals, you know, throughout this expedition. And now we're in sort of soft coral territory and plexaurid territory.
It's just new and exciting.
Yeah, it's like nothing else we've seen during this
Is that a
leg of
sand
this
dollar?
expedition. So yeah, another sand dollar test. Oh, I just wish I could get one.
Come on in.
I don't really think you need one.
Beautiful.
Almost looks like a silver dollar, doesn't it? That was a really stupid joke, wasn't it?
I was just like, what's this? I don't understand.
Steve and I were looking at each other like, how do we respond to that? But seriously, we really enjoy our shore-based science team.
So this is the internal skeleton.
So what do they look like when they're alive?
Exactly like that, but covered in tissue.
Right, but, well, it can't look exactly like that if it's covered
It
in
does.
tissue.
It's like purple or pink, and it
Oh.
has the exact same shape. And on the underside, there are tiny, tiny spines that it uses to walk around the seafloor.
It's purple or pink?
Usually.
Wow. Now I feel like I should go Google this.
Sand dollar. Google it.
No, we'll see if we can find one alive.
Fish center. Come on in.
They can also be green. Okay, so
All right, now this is something you should Google. If you've never seen a sand dollar alive before, Google live sand dollar.
I was going to say the ones I'm seeing are mostly dead, but no, you actually put in live, which was
Yes, you have to
smart.
put in live. And then
Yeah.
they're purple. I had no idea.
Purple or greeny.
Yeah, so folks following along at home, now is a great time to go run over to Google or your preferred web browser and search for what live sand dollars look like. What is that? Do we think that might be a sponge?
Oh, I was thinking some kind of shell.
Shell?
How big is this, pilot?
Come on out. Bring the lasers up.
Maybe a dead cup coral?
Okay, so about 5 centimeters across. That's pretty big.
There are all sorts of answers in the event log
yeah,
right now.
I'm not buying. some of
Steve is
them.
not convinced. Not convinced.
Okay, thank you, pilot.
You're welcome. Come on out, video.
Guys ready for a move?
Yes.
Oh, not a cup coral.
Bridge RV nav.
I think it was a live sand dollar.
Ready for another ship move. 30 meters, bearing 230 degrees, 0.2 knots.
So we're definitely seeing that where we see these small rock outcrops,
Good
we
copy.
see a higher percentage of
It's a circle down at
life.
the bottom of the
They
screen
found a way to
on the
get
rock.
just a little bit above the seafloor and gives them a little bit better chance.
Agreed, but I also think we're not focusing on a lot of the stuff in between these higher rocks.
That's true, and there are actually, we've seen a lot of
So,
corals in
yes.
between them as well.
So
Thank
we
you,
might
Bridge.
be getting a biased view here. Can we look at what this big bushy thing is on this, on
The black
center
thing? Or
right?
purple thing?
kind of, yeah, purpley.
You know, Diva was earlier talking about these reef fish and their great colors and how we don't really work in these depths. Both of us are used to looking at animals that are white and red, generally, with no other pigments. And if you were following along the expedition when we went to the hydrothermal vents, that's exactly what we saw.
Hey, come on in.
Another plexaurid. Was that what we guessed this was? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
No idea.
Not guessed, but
Maxu.
Well, took an educated guess.
yes. As well as some stylasteroids behind.
You're happy video.
It's definitely something I haven't seen before.
They get lasers. They're on. Okay. Never mind.
Yep, so Scott's saying plexaurid.
So what is all the pink and purple stuff that's on the boulders themselves? Is that crustose coralline algae?
Yeah, it looks like coralline algae. Algae.
Algae.
Which means that light does get down to these depths, and some of these animals are photosynthetic. Which again is unsurprising given how colorful a lot of the fish are in this area. There must be some light making it down.
I'll believe you.
Should we try an experiment, turn off the lights and turn the camera up?
And yes,
towards
Scott,
the
it is
sky?
very impressive how deep these rhodolithic
Max
algae can
gain up.
photosynthesize.
Ask science about that.
Science, should we try a test and turn out the lights and turn the cameras skyward and max out the camera gain to see what we see?
Sure,
Sure, why not?
we're up for anything
that
at
do
this
something?
point.
Well, we can see if we can see any light.
Oh
from
wait,
the
but
surface.
is this just sediment at the front of this?
Yes, sediment.
Come on in.
Oh. Huh, but why is it?
Yeah, what is that on the rock? It's round.
It's interesting that there's a patch of
It
very
must just
fine
be because
sediment
it's
right
like
here.
behind the rock.
Yeah, it's probably just protected by the boulder.
Can we zoom
It's
on
like
the round thing on the rock, please?
There's two of them.
They look like mollusks. Maybe.
Okay, come on in, Roland.
Tourniquets.
Max soon.
Anyone ashore? Care to hazard a guess?
What is
I'm
that?
going with
Yeah,
gastropod.
co-pilot gave it to you.
What did the co-pilot say?
I believe it's a tunicate sea squirt.
A tunicate sea squirt.
Should we
Oh,
look
I
at
see the
one
siphon
above?
on
It looks a
top.
little bit like, oh, maybe it is a sea squirt. I was going to say a vermitiid gastropod, but it looks like there's two openings, doesn't it? So it does look like a tunicate sea squirt.
Do they dress themselves
Alright,
up in
looking down to
sediment
80.
as camouflage?
Get the other one.
Because that's what it looks like.
But then, what's the point of the spiky thing on the right?
Feel yourself get a little closer, co-pilot.
Oh, yep, okay.
wall,
That
yep.
one you can clearly see the internal siphon and the
Good thing on the
external
left.
siphon,
Alright, gonna be time to move
perhaps.
soon.
Where?
Hold on, let's see
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Oh,
I see one. But so again, are they like purposely dressing themselves in sediment?
I guess.
Ship should be in position here, like.
Yep,
any
there's
second,
a lot
so-
of
I think they're
consensus
just
from
maybe
ashore.
being overgrown by some stuff, and they do have a fairly rough and warty external tunic, but I don't know that they're intentionally putting
Video
other stuff
clear.
on them.
Hey,
Okay.
come on out.
I think they're just being overgrown somewhat.
how much longer?
I thought you saw me doing it. I really wish I knew more about carbonate geology so we could talk a little bit about this.
There's some more fish up at this rock ahead. In the background.
So I think you have a juvenile snapper, possibly, or another species that's on the other side of that angled rock. It's right below the screen. Yeah, there he is. He's going up, very forked tail, right in front of the yellow-headed one.
Okay, come on in.
If we could zoom on that one, this could be an important one to record its presence here. I don't think it is a snapper. I think it's in a different family here. Well, I have a guess, but I'd like to hear what Brian Green or some of the others online think that this one is.
Port swing arm, slightly.
You're full line.
Port
Yep, so Brian came in and it's in the family Symphysanodonidae, and that's actually what I thought it could be. It was not Symphysanodon typus, which we have in Hawaii. It was a different form, but he also agrees it's in the genus Symphysanodon. I've forgotten what the common name for that is. I'll try to look it up.
Let's come back in. Alright, come out.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know where he went.
There he is.
Let's get this guy rolling.
So this fish is called a slope fish.
Nervous little guy, isn't he? Pulling full wide. There's a crinoid on that coral.
Come on in.
There's also oh, never mind. Algae.
So this is another one of those stalked crinoids with the purple arms that I think Chris suggested was from the family Isocrinae. And here we can see it's holding on to
Alright, come on out.
this yellow plexaurid, which also has an ophiuroid living commensally on it.
Full wide.
This rock
Come in
is an
here real
interesting shape. So, for those of you that have been watching for the past half an hour, about a little while ago we saw a circular, what looked like calcareous
Oh, that's
object.
fine.
Some people had guessed sponge, others had guessed a shell.
Tight.
But Asako Matsumoto from Chiba Institute of Technology has actually identified it, and it's a good possibility what she's ID'd it to, and it's a Cycloclypeus carpenteri, a very large and flat foraminifera with hyaline tests. This species is well adapted to live in deeper parts of the photic zone. It has a large, circular, and centrally umbonate test narrowed at the periphery. The microspheric tests can be very large, up to 13 centimeters. And so they are made of technically calcium carbonate and have a glassy appearance and pores. So thank you very much, Sasako, for that ID.
I'm going to be looking forward to the joystick with the softer return spring after this dive. Going partial here.
So these carbonate breccias, they look old. They've got these dissolution pits that make them look like they were exposed at the surface. So that's really kind of interesting to see rocks that were very close, that were above sea level, now down at 250 meters.
Thank you, Bob.
Pilots, you ready for another
Bob,
move?
is that because of subsidence or because you believe these tumbled down the slope?
I think I want to go back to the previous.
They look like they're pretty
240.
close to being in place up here. So it could be, it would have to be some kind of subsidence.
Bridge RV nav.
But this ridge that Farallon de Medinilla is the
Look at the
northernmost
ship move,
limit of,
30 meters,
has had its
bearing
ups and downs. Guam
240
is
degrees,
right now way up,
0.2 knots.
and this could have been much more up than it is today as well.
Good copy. I called in a 240 degree move at 240.
Perfect.
Let's come in here. Let's come in here, video.
So, video, did we decide not to turn off the lights? Video, did we decide not to turn off lights in the end? Forgot about it. Oh, wait, can we tilt down, please? There's a tiny pagurid. Is it a pagurid? Yeah, and a tiny little shell walking along the bottom in front of that fish.
Sit back down.
Partial. Yeah, as close as you can get to it. Look at the picnic gourd.
This karst is really interesting, and it's not explored at all in the Marianas. So this island is not very big, so it's probably got no significant groundwater system. But around Guam, Saipan, Tinian, this kind of terrain at 200 meters down would probably be draining fresh water into the ocean. And so you'd have some very strange salinity environments around these caves, if you want to call it that.
Hidden behind the coral.
And probably some very interesting ecosystems. Nobody's ever looked at them. Even if, well, we don't even know if they exist. I just made it up, but I'm guessing it's probably true.
All right, more or less on top of you.
Alright, I gotta move.
Is that a live sand dollar on the left? Or is it an enemy?
An enemy, come on in. Closed up an enemy.
Closed up an enemy.
get this guy? I think this is the guy we saw earlier.
This is another Prospermoides zonatus. One of the bottom fish we've been after.
I'm going to turn the lasers on and see if we can get a size.
Go for it. And he's got it.
Yep.
Alright, coming up. I'm behind, I need to push ahead.
Can we get a geologic sample anywhere here?
Chris, I don't see why not.
I don't either. Sure, that'd be great. I just didn't think there was interest, but if there's interest, absolutely.
Let me ask the pilots if it's a possibility.
It'd be paleontologists have to look at it, but I think it'd be worth taking a look at.
Okay, let me ask the pilots if that's something we can do.
Yes, watch sleep.
Hello?
Yes.
So, if we find a loose rock somewhere, would it be possible to get it, or is that going to be too hard?
We can get you a rock. How big is this guy?
Awesome.
That one's big.
It's kind of big. How heavy are these? Are these like dense?
They're probably not as heavy as igneous rocks.
Okay.
They're still not light, though.
Looks
I mean, that's a big rock.
I wouldn't go
looks
for that.
flat.
Just,
I mean,
we just have to find something loose.
Okay. Just keep an eyeball as we move around. Are you sure that rock is too big?
It's pretty big. Like, I was questioning whether it would fit in the rock box.
Okay. Yeah, too big.
Maybe we could just go on, and then I think, when you get by these little boulder piles, you can usually see some loose stuff that's right around them. That'd be a good rock. A little worried that this is consolidated sediment right here. And so, I don't know, Bob, what do you think?
No, that's right. It is consolidated, and that's fine to move on. We don't have to get it right here.
Pushing ahead.
With all your might.
I make it to the end of the map.
So we're going to have a little bit of a catch if we get too much further around this curve. Recovery is going to be complicated
What's
by the
white
shallows.
thing below lasers now?
I don't know what you're looking at, Roland.
To the right of lasers. I can
Okay.
push in bottom edge of screen.
The coral?
Nope, to the right of that.
The rock?
Yeah. It's a couple of things on the top of it looks strange.
Do any of these rocks look interesting, or are these rocks?
Do any of them look loose?
I mean, there's small ones, but
That is not a rock. I don't know what that is.
Shirley's domain. She's not here.
I was like, that is not a rock.
It's a gemma sponge, I'd assume, but maybe it even could be one of those leucistus. I have no idea.
Partial. It's also a yellow thing just above that small coral on the right. Lasers.
Come on in.
So geologists, do you guys want to try to get a rock in this type of area? Or do you want to hold off for something else?
Next thing.
This geologist would like a rock whenever you can get one, but it shouldn't have to be right here. It doesn't look like anything loose right now.
Okay. What is that yellow thing?
It's a single polyp of something. It's either a newly growing coral or zoanthid.